Hello everybody, I'm Levi Hunter, and my YouTube channel is Levi Hunter 11. I'm with Romer here, and he just wants me to go over my my turtle tank and my aquarium here. So what I got here is I got a 40-gallon breeder tank, and what I have here is this is my basking lamp. So it has UVA, which is for heating, and UVB, which is also for basking, but the UVB goes ahead and makes sure that the turtle is breaking down what it needs and can get plenty of calcium, and it's digesting calcium. That way the turtle doesn't get metabolic bone disease, and it just stays strong and it has good shell health. But the reason I have two filters on here is because turtles perform a lot of waste, so you gotta make sure that you're over filtering. And the fish I have here is I have little albino catfish. I love that albino catfish. Eating some food there. And then I have, looks like I have 7 minnows, but fun fact, you actually shouldn't use minnows as feeder fish because they're high in thymine, or thymate, I think that's the word, but pretty much it can hurt the turtle long term, so you shouldn't use that as your main feeding fish. If you want to use fish, use guppies. Guppies are great, they'll breed with each other, they'll make more babies, and they don't have thymate. But here, we can go ahead and meet my little turtle. This is Flip Flop, and he, I believe, is an Orwachi map turtle. You can't really tell because I got it online and they didn't give me the exact type. I thought it was going to be Mississippi, but it's definitely not a Mississippi because you can tell by the little yellow marks by the ears. If it was a Mississippi, it'd be a lot thinner and longer, but they're more blotches. And Flip Flop is about 3 months old and probably about 2 inches of shell growth. I specifically ordered a male and paid extra, but you know, it's an online company. I don't know how reputable they are. I've heard they aren't, so who knows, they could have given me a female.
How old do they have to be before you can actually tell if it's a male or female?
So, it's probably going to be around a year. And
okay.
You'll tell mainly by the tail. So, a male will have a bigger tail because it has its member down there, while a female will have a much smaller tail. Also, with male map turtles, fun fact, actually the most sexually dimorphic turtle there is.
What does that mean?
So the males are much, much smaller. A lot of the time, they're about half as long, and they're probably 1/4 the actual mass of a female.
Okay.
So if Flip Flop here is a female, I'm gonna need a much bigger tank.
So you hold Flip Flop still there for a moment. Right there, don't move. I just want the audience to see. That is perfect, Flip Flop. That is great. Now, Flip Flop, why is Flip Flop called a map turtle?
So the reason he's called a map turtle is there's kind of multiple reasons. So if you kind of see his skin right there, it kind of looks a little bit more like a map.
Oh yeah, don't move, don't move. Okay, I got that. Cool.
And then also, if you look at the bottom of the shell.
Oh yeah, it looks like a map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good-looking turtle.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
But yeah.
Okay.
And then if you want to get like a shot of him swimming.
Now show it, hold it like this to the side. I want people to see that ridge.
Yeah,
it's also called a
sawback turtle.
So if the audience can see that looks like a saw on his back, which is really, or her back.
His, probably, I think, a guy.
Now, you said you have 2 filters here because that helps keep the water clean because they poop a lot?
Yes. Not only do they poop a lot, their poop is a lot bigger than a fish.
That makes sense.
If you have 2 filters, it's going to break it down a lot faster and keep this water. This water, in my opinion, is very clean.
Yeah, let's see. Let me get the audience to kind of take a look at that. I mean, you do have a nice filter there. So you said again, one light is for, which one is this for?
This is UVA, which is for heat.
Okay.
To make sure it's drying off. And this is for UVB, which is to make sure it's getting calcium and digesting calcium.
So this like replicates the sun, and this gives it heat. Okay, and this is their basking area.
Yep. I can go ahead and put on here real quick.
There we go.
Dive in.
That's solid. Oh yeah, that's a great. And he doesn't eat these fish, right?
I don't believe so.
They're too big for him?
No, Flip Flop isn't very aggressive.
Okay. Now, why did you pick rock substrate? That was just the style you wanted?
So I had sand in here, and so there must have been bacteria that got in, and it really messed with the sand, and the sand was getting black. So I went ahead, I just removed all of the sand. I completely went to rock because also it's easier to clean. So my siphon here.
Yeah, let's see your siphon.
It can get in between the rocks, and I can make sure I'm getting everything out of there.
Got it. How often do you do water changes?
So I'll do a water change once every 2 weeks.
Okay.
I get about 20 to 30% of the water out. Make sure on the, what's it called? The, something cycle.
Okay.
But it gets, make sure that the cycle's going, it's getting new water, it's not getting stale.
Now, okay, so I used to collect fish. I've never had an aquatic turtle as a pet. Do you have to acclimate them to the water when you first get them, or are they ready to go right away? Or do they need to be acclimated?
So turtles are very hardy.
Okay.
They are very hardy. You're not going to really have a problem if you just put a turtle in here, really, unless you get one of those turtles, which maybe soft shells might be a little different, or a lot of the times side necks are they're harder to keep.
Okay.
But you should acclimate. Like, a lot of the time, which I'll do with the turtle, is I'll get a bit of the water, a tiny little bit outside of it, and just, like, not to where it's fully submerged, so he's getting a little bit of a taste of it before he's just thrown in there.
Okay. Now, I'm noticing you have, is that mealworms in there or food?
Mealworms, pellets, and then I also have dried shrimp.
So what are you feeding your turtles? Do you have any samples of what you feed them?
Yes.
Can you show the audience here?
This is just hatchling pellets, so this is what Flip Flop ate when he was smaller. I got this with him when I bought him.
And what's inside of that? Just pellets?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It doesn't give me a super great, but yeah, just...
No, turn it around so the audience can kind of... Yeah, hold it. Oh, so just little pellets. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Small for the turtle to eat.
Okay.
But what Flip Flop now eats is the floating turtle sticks.
Okay, keep that still. Okay, so it's a combination of mealworms and other stuff they eat.
Yep. And then I have one more
Yeah.
that I bought, which is going to be better for when they're a bit older. But Flip Flop, I give them like 1 or 2 every once in a while, just to mix it up with different pellets I'm getting, just so I can make sure
Okay, keep that still there. Aquatic turtle food, okay.
See, if you get different pellets from different brands, they use different, different foods. So
Okay.
he's getting a little bit more of a balanced diet.
Got it. And you feed the turtle separately from the aquarium?
Yes, I feed them separately. Well, now I have fish in here, which I can show you my fish food real quick.
Sure.
But I just have this, it sticks onto the tank and it kind of floats out.
Oh, it's a cube. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little cool. But, yeah, I feed them separately because turtles are messy. Like, if you see them eat, they'll go ahead and they'll, like, bite it and then it'll get all over the place. Like, they don't just eat in one gulp, typically. Especially for map turtles, fun fact, they eat mostly snails. So their whole thing is they bite, crunch it up to try to get the good parts, so it just scatters everywhere.
Oh, they eat snails.
That's why a lot of times if you look up map turtles, the females, they have like these giant heads from muscles from crushing snails.
That makes sense. I don't know if this is true, do turtles need water in order to eat food?
Yeah, some do.
Okay.
So Flip Flop, I believe, as a map turtle, would have to be in the water to eat the food because they don't produce saliva. But there are some species like diamondback terrapins who actually don't need water and do produce saliva. Now, maybe Flip Flop can because diamondback terrapins are the map turtle's closest relative, but I believe map turtles do. Right? Your sliders do, painted turtles do, and most aquatic species do have to be in the water to be eating their food because they cannot go ahead and swallow it.
Ah. And does turtle sleep?
Yes. So when I came in here, my other turtle was sleeping, and I turned on its light, and it was not happy.
So where do they sleep? Like on the? Do they sleep underwater? Or do
sleep underwater.
Oh, they can. How do they not suffocate? Because they can't breathe water, right?
Well, it depends on which species. Some actually can breathe through their skin. Mine can't.
Okay.
But turtles can go a very long time. A painted turtle can go weeks because they go through brumation, but typically when they're sleeping, it's not brumating, but they can go multiple hours without needing to breathe.
Really? Now, if someone's going to be new to the turtle hobby, what's something they should know?
So my recommendation is make sure you do your research. A lot of turtles are, like red ear sliders is the most popular aquatic turtle that this hobby has, and people don't realize this, but the red ear slider, they start out about this small, and they can get pushing 13 inches.
To over a foot.
And a lot of these people start off with 10-gallon tanks with no plans on upgrading.
What's the proper size you should have? Is there a way to estimate like how much tank you need for your turtle?
So yes, the typical rule is 10 gallons for every inch of shell you have. So Flip Flop about 2 inches is a 40-gallon tank. If he becomes a male, if he is a male, he might stay around 4 inches. So this tank could possibly be perfect for him the rest of his life. I'm gonna upgrade eventually because
Yeah. But
I
if it's
wanna
a
get-
but if it's a female, how big can he get?
He'll need at least 100-gallon tank.
So basically double this.
Yes.
Wow, so that's a no joke. So most people then don't really have adequate aquariums because I
Mm-hmm. Oh,
see
no.
huge turtles in like, I've seen 8-inch turtles in something like this
Yeah,
size.
no, but you shouldn't. If you have an 8-inch turtle, 40-gallon is not good enough. You
Okay.
need to do your research. You got to make sure. Like, yeah, the turtle is for enjoyment, but you also want to give it a good home. You don't want it to be miserable.
Right, that makes
And
sense.
also, your life's going to be easier too. If you have a bigger tank, you have more water. It's not going to get as dirty as fast if you have the proper filtration, of course.
That makes sense. All right, let me get some more views. This is his tank here. So you don't use real plants, right? This is all plastic?
All plastic.
Okay, because that one looks real.
I had real plants in there for a little bit, but then they got ate.
Oh, the turtles eat them?
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of not worth it.
Yeah, not really.
Now, I noticed you don't have a top lid over here. Do you notice the water evaporates quicker without it?
It does, but I can't really put any lights in there without top.
Oh, that kind of makes sense because when I have fish tanks, you have the top, but we don't need a heat lamp.
And also, so a lot of people, they'll have the mesh like over the top.
Right.
UV light does not go through those well. You
Oh.
need an open tank for the UV light to properly be hitting the turtle.
That makes sense. And again, the type of turtle he's a what?
He's a nap turtle. I believe in a watching nap turtle.
Okay. Cool. What's your favorite turtle?
My favorite turtle. That's a hard one to say. Right now I'd probably say I kind of have 3 favorites, which are the 3 I'm gonna eventually have, which would be the nap turtle, the southern painted turtle, and then the pink-bellied side-neck turtle.
Okay,
But if
cool.
I'd have to say all of them right now, my favorite species is probably the southern painted turtle.
Cool. Beautiful. Well, thank you. So if people want to learn more about turtles, where can they find you?
So I will be posting about my turtles, and pretty soon I'm going to be a new turtle if you want to see that.
Yeah.
But go to Levi Hunter 11 on YouTube.
Cool. I'll put in the link. Thank you, Levi.
All right, of course.
Dang, how